So before my husband and I moved to New York, we had this whole other life for us in Tulsa where we were living. We were full-time salaried teachers, we had benefits, we had teachers' retirement, a paid-for car. It was just like this very nice little life with a bow on it. And then in 2006, something happened. I won an online dance contest, which allowed me to perform on Broadway with the cast of Hairspray. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, there is something really seductive about dancing with giant wigs where you're like, I should be doing this all the time. I'm gonna take my life savings and quit my job. And that's what I did. Now, lest you think, she didn't have a plan. I had a plan. Step 1. Become famous on Broadway. Step 2, my husband was going to become a New York Times best-selling author because he had, wait for it, a blog. Thank you. So we did. I'm going to save you a couple details here. Fast forward 6 months and about 15 pounds heavier. I'm sitting on my futon because that's where sadness lives. And I'm hanging out with my good pal Depression because I have never been, literally to this day, so broke and just so miserable. Like fresh vegetables, I don't know what those are anymore. We don't buy those anymore. We can't afford those. The only thing that we can afford to eat every night, beans and rice. Just beans and rice, canned beans and rice every single night. We're getting that real nice doughy kind of starchy beans and rice face. And like I thought that was a low point. I thought that, no. The low point came, hand to God, sitting on said futon. This mouse comes out from behind the stove, roots in the trash, there's no food there, jumps out of the trash, looks at us, tilts its head just like, you poor country mice, you sad sacks. And that just tipped the scale. I was like, I have to get out of this apartment, I have to get out of here. I couldn't afford to go anywhere, had no money, but I knew that that night, there was this Christmas event at Bryant Park in New York, and they were going to have Broadway singers and ice skaters. And I said to my husband, I was like, do you want to come see these singers and skaters with me? And he's heterosexual, so he said no. So I was like, fine, I'm going. So I start making my way to the park, and all the way there, I'm just getting angrier and angrier that this gamble isn't paying off, and I'm so stupid. Why did I do this? This is horrible. And I was like, well, at least when I get to the park, it's going to be a nice thing. Wrong. It is just that mass of holiday people at a free event, in New York, and I just start like muscling my way through the crowd. It's just shoulder to shoulder, and I'm making my way through. I get stuck in the middle. I can't see anything, and then there's this woman behind me, and every time she just moves her hand, it's just like on my ass, and then I say to her, I was like, if you don't stop what you're doing back there, I'm gonna start charging you, and she's like, whoa. 'Tis the season, like I'm that person in the crowd. And there's this very cute older gentleman in front of me, and he's like looking around. I was like, what is this dude's problem? And he's like, excuse me, miss, I noticed you're not having a good time. And I was like, eh. And he's like, would you like my spot? I can see everything. And I was like, nah, I don't want, because I'm committed to being an asshole now. So he's like, no, please take my spot. And he pushes me up, and even though it's only a one-person difference, like, I can see everything. And honestly, it is. For a while, it is that only in New York moment where I'm like, this is so cool. This is so nice. And after a while, though, I tell him, like, thank you for your spot. I need to leave. And he goes, oh, I'm leaving myself. We make our way back through the crowd. And just before I'm about to leave, he goes, miss, can I tell you something? I was like, sure. And he goes, I just want to tell you that I think you are a very beautiful woman. And, like, it was like the first nice thing anyone had said to me in like months, and like my puffy rice face, I was like, thank you! Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. And then he goes, and I'd like to offer you $100,000 to sleep with you. What? Say that again? Yes, I'd like to offer you $100,000 to sleep with you. I was like, it's a Christmas miracle! But in the worst possible packaging, like, here I thought he was like an adorable shoe cobbler, not like the ghost of Christmas prostitution. And when I look in his eyes, I just see the beans and rice that I've been eating being like, do it. Do him. Do this dude. And then I have like that proverbial like devil and angel, and then it's like, take the money, take the money. And then it's like, no, remember the thing your mother used to tell you. And I was like, yes, what's the thing my mother used to tell me? Oh yes, don't be a whore. Don't be a whore. Now, I want to stop here. I really want you to comprehend this. Let's break this down. $100,000. Like, do you know what you can buy with $100,000? Lettuce. Fresh fruits. You can buy, I don't know, maybe $100,000 isn't a lot to you guys. I don't know. You might all be like secret millionaires who go to free shows on Sunday nights. I don't know. I don't know you. You seem lovely. It's a lot of money to me. And as I'm just sitting there, he's just like layering it on, like, oh, I would take you to this hotel, and we're gonna have room service, and I'm an excellent lover. And I mean, it's like indecent proposal, the holiday season, but like way less sexy casting. But I know, like, I have to get out of here. I must leave. And so I tell him, I was like, I have to go. I have to go. And he's like, well, are you going to the subway? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, let me accompany you. And I was like, oh, he's a gentleman too. And so we're walking to the subway, and the whole way there, he's actually really lovely, and we're having this great, I mean, lovely for like someone who wants to be my pimp, but like, lovely conversation, and we're walking, and we get to the subway, and he goes, are you sure there's nothing else I can do to convince you? I don't know why I said this next thing, but I go, listen, if we're both here next year, and I see you, maybe we can make something happen. Like, I wanted it to be like a Sleepless in Seattle, like, I'll meet you at the Empire State Building, but it was really just like much more like, yo, if in a year I'm still broke and you're still horny, we'll lock it down. You know, like, we'll do this. He takes my hand, kisses it, and then he leaves, and I go on the subway. And on the ride home, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around what just happened. And I get home, and I open my apartment door, and my husband's there, and I go, you are not gonna believe the night I just had. And I tell him everything, like everything that happened. And then there's just silence. Which is the part in my marriage where I learned, oh, you don't tell your spouse everything. You don't tell them everything. And he finally speaks, and he goes, so, like, how is he gonna pay you? Like, with a check? Thank you, guys.